Hello and welcome on Watches TV. And Martin, can you tell us all about what we have behind us?
There's absolutely a cool object now here, a clock, what we call the space-time blade. And space-time, of course, because it measures both things, space and time. And obviously it is a blade. So, yeah, I mean, we found also the perfect spot for it, as you can see here, connecting the seven skies. And yeah, it's a pleasure actually to be able to every now and then develop a crazy machine, and a clock that is a bit of a different format. We did it with the pocket watch back in the day, and now here we have like a clock based actually on a concept that we learned from the zonto clock. That's an object in our possession that Felix's father had found at some point in a workshop, and he didn't understand it. Being a clock restorer, antique clocks, he looked at it and was like, "What is this?" But then he found out that it's actually measuring the distance that we travel in a certain amount of time. So he had like a hand that moved, and that actually made you understand that we are here on Earth, traveling distances. And so we liked this idea. We used it in a UR100 with these two lateral indications, but we also used it here with a different time display. And actually we learned, we got to know Dalibor Farny, a really cool engineer-minded person. He came to introduce himself and said, we should do something together. We are like-minded. I will prove it to you. And he actually really did. So it's amazing actually to get to know him, to work with him. He's from the Czech Republic. He has his factory there where he builds these tubes. And it's, it requires a lot of, physics and knowledge about how to create things, how to overcome obstacles.
And a lot of craftsmanship also.
A lot of craftsmanship. You can imagine that you have here the Murano glass lamp, but it's not far away actually from those tubes because they have to be made in a very similar way, So he has to, for all of these aspects, you have to find a solution. So he created these tubes, especially for us and for this object. And so the frame of the only watch is perfect for us in this sense because we can use it, to do things a bit different every now and then. Absolutely, yeah. So that's what it is. And so you can play around with it. It has a remote control that you can see, that gives you the lightsaber, and that's maybe something that everybody had, always wanted to touch and have in his hands. Yeah. So it's actually here now to somehow steer the blade, Well, that's what it is.
And obviously, as you mentioned, it's a one-off because it's for only watch. But is it giving you ideas to maybe explore a bit further?
As you can imagine. First of all, our relationship with Dalibor Farny somehow just showed us, what other things we could do. Not even only for tubes. He's just an inventive mind, and so I'm sure we can work together with him on other projects. But it's also this object. We always with Urwerk had other formats in mind. We started actually all the way back, with the one-armed bandit. That was an old concept that we had, and we continue this. Sometimes you can materialize it, and that's now happened. And so we do this unique piece here. This is the prototype. There is other possibilities with maybe other coatings, other colors, maybe even other colors of the glass. We don't know yet. We will see.
And it gives really kind of a three-dimensionality of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course, that's it. So a different display, and the fascination for me, of course, because I'm from a time where when you open the TV set, and that's what I certainly did, every now and then, when there's an old one somewhere, you have these bulbs, these strange cathoden or these tubes, So you had inside of this glass world, you had a strange city, somehow mechanical world, and you never know exactly what it does, So it's cool actually now to create this together and see the fire in there,
Exactly.
So it's even though it's kind of like an anachronistic technology that died out, but Dalibor Forney happily rediscovered it. And it is, and that's a fact, still the fastest way to visualize the digits, changing digits. So he actually did, among other things, he also did a clock for NASA. So that's a cool thing. And also works for artists. So he did for a Japanese artist. He developed a new bulb that's like a big size, really cool piece. So you get to know these people, it's good.
All right. Well, it's a really fine looking object. Thank you very much for hosting us, and see you soon.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys.